Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man, the twice a week sports podcast where I, your host, TJ, am accompanied by the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame in his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. We invite you to stick around a while. Again, as I mentioned, this is a twice a week all sports podcast. We talk anything NFL, World Cup football. We talk NFL, college football, NHL, basketball, MLB, anything and everything. Athletics. We cover on this show. So if you're new to the channel, as I mentioned, we invite you to stick around a while. We invite you to subscribe on YouTube, to like on Facebook, and to follow on Twitter. Today, we got a lot to cover. We're going to be talking a little about World Cup action. Who faltered and failed at the group stages, and I'm sure there will be more teams, more surprising teams that don't make it past the group stages. We're going to be talking about Aaron Judge and the massive contract he was offered in the recent news regarding where he possibly may end up and the super team that he wants to build. Oh, man, the Miami Heat. The old Miami Heat still having an impact across all sports. And as well, we're going to go ahead and cover a little bit of NFL action, Grumpy Old Man. We've got NFL, college football to cover, and it's going to be a doozy. What, Grumpy?
College football. Wonderful. Maybe we'll talk about the teams that are the four teams that are supposedly the Final Four so far. Who knows?
Yeah, we can. Maybe that might come up in the conversation today.
Just might.
Maybe.
Just might.
So, yep. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, and follow on Twitter if you enjoy the content. Also, if you like what we produce, you like the podcast that we put out, leave a thumbs up. Apparently, it helps the algorithm and gets myself and the Grumpy Old Man out there to the masses. But Grump, let's talk a little World Cup action. Man, oh man, some really big juggernauts in the world of in world football don't make it past the group stages. You've got, most notably today, Germany and Belgium cannot make it out of the group stages.
Ach du liebe Germany, you're goodbye.
Asa, what'd you say, Grumpy?
Ach du liebe. I don't know what that means. It sounds German.
Ach du
Bye-bye.
liebe. Good gracious.
Ach du liebe.
Auf
Wiedersehen, Germany.
Let's talk a little about that, though, Grumpy.
They weren't very good. They should have. Just on pedigree, you would expect them to get through, but they've not been really good for a while now. The last World Cup, they won 2 World Cups ago. Last time they did not make it out of the group stage, and they didn't make it out of the group stage this time. They need a full transition, without a doubt. They're not the same team they used to be.
When you look at it, Germany just doesn't have a finisher. That's the issue. Germany doesn't have a finisher. When you talk about the last World Cup they won, right? You're talking about was it 2012? Or no, it got to be 2014.
2014. Yep.
Yeah, it was the last World Cup they won. And, you look at that team, look at how many guys were at the height of their careers. Manuel Neuer was the best goalie in all of soccer at that time period, world football. You look across the board, you had Philip Lahm on the back line. You had so many of these really talented, unbelievably talented players across the board. And Mariana Klose was up top. You had a lot of players who could put the ball in the net, great defensemen, and great goaltending. That team was at the peak, and they've got a lot of big name players on this Germany squad, but no striker.
Yeah, that's been, even when they were winning back in the 2000s, they had Miroslav Klose, who was really good in World Cup, but nowhere else. But he had that ability to score goals on the big stage like that. And they won a lot of games with him as their striker. Thomas Muller, who you see laying down on his face there, was expected to take that over, but he was never really able to. I'm not saying he's a terrible player.
He's not a striker.
He's not a terrible player, but he's certainly not, a top 5 or top 10 world-class striker.
Okay, no, he's not a striker at all. That's he's a cam or maybe a false 9, and they're running him up there as a true strike. What are you expecting?
But he's always played striker for their team, for the national team, always. He barely plays for Bayern Munich. He's not a full-time starter there. Long story short, you're right. they don't have a world-class striker up top, and it's cost them. Absolutely.
Kai Havertz is another guy, Grumpy, who is one of those guys who plays a false nine role, and
He,
Germany produces a lot of those type of players, not the type of player who could pound the ball in the net in the final third, which is what they need.
yeah, they need a finisher. I mean,
Their back line's strong still with Rudiger. They have some strong, solid pieces. Their midfield is good. Their wingers with Sane, with Leroy Sane when healthy,
Sane's out.
when
Sane's out.
when healthy. Leroy
Okay, but he's
Sane
out.
obviously helps. Nabry, who's a good winger as well. I mean, like those guys are talented players, but you look at their age now too. That's right. Nabry, 27 years old. I know Sane was injured, but he's 26. How much time realistically do you have left? Kai Havertz is young enough still, but they just don't have the striker. Like a few teams that have struggled this year, their inability to finish. For those who like the stats, that Germany had so far in the group stages, the highest expected goals that they were supposed to score. And they also had the highest goal differential the highest expected goal differential. So they were expected to score more goals versus what they conceded by the largest margin out of any team in the tournament.
They got behind the 8 ball, losing the first game to Japan.
Yes.
When you lose that first game, you're really scrambling. You got to depend on other teams to do things for you. And it just wasn't to be. I mean, they tied for second most points, but it wasn't enough because Spain had their first game. They played Costa Rica and they killed them 7-0.
Yeah.
So you knew they were going to have any goal differential advantage that was going to go to Spain, and it did. And that's what cost them. Kudos to Japan, though. I mean, I don't think Japan's very good. Matter of fact, today against Spain, they did not give Spain a goal that they should have given them, without a doubt. It was over the line. I don't know if you have VAR.
No. They gave Japan a goal that they should not have been awarded. You said it the other way. I think you said that they should have given Spain a goal, but they didn't. It was a goal that Japan was awarded despite the ball looking like it was out. But you see different angles that prove otherwise. I'm sorry. I'll let you get back to what you're saying. I just want to make that
but the whole thing is that's what VAR is supposedly for, to overrule those plays, and they just didn't. That's a mistake.
Well, you're seeing here, Japan beats Spain with just 17.7% possession, the lowest figure ever recorded in a World Cup history.
Yeah.
Japan, you think about it, in this group, they didn't beat Costa Rica. They lost to Costa Rica, in fact, and they beat Japan. They beat Germany and Spain.
They're going to lose to Croatia in the first knockout stage. Croatia's a veteran team. They got Luka Modric. They got
Kovacic.
Yeah,
Kovacic. They've got a whole bunch of
itches. They got a whole bunch of itches on that team, and they're all pretty good. Remember, 4 years ago they were the runners up in the World Cup. They lost to France 1-0. I feel that they're going to beat Japan. Like I said, Japan scored a couple of goals in like 5 minutes. Other than that, they did nothing the whole game. I don't see them going very far at all.
Japan is a very technically savvy team. I don't think their team is full of any stars. That's for certain. I mean, you've got a lot. If you look at their roster, a lot of their roster plays European football to some extent. European football, when you're talking about club football, always is the top of the top. It's the pinnacle. And when you look at it, a lot of their players, a lot of their, league players don't actually play in the Japanese league. They don't play in the league there. And you think to yourself, they're all playing in different leagues, but they mesh very well, and they're very technically savvy players. That being said, it only takes you so far. They do have speed. They are aggressive when they need to be, and they can make you pay when you make a mistake. It's a team that can be really sneaky. Do you remember, kind of moving off of that group, right? Because Spain, despite losing today, they got fortunate. They got really fortunate that they did not get knocked out, because there was at one point where Costa Rica was beating Germany, and what had happened is you would have had Morocco. I'm sorry, you would have had Japan, and you would have had Costa Rica advancing over Spain and Germany. And it was like for about a 5 minute interval. I was just like, it's freaking, it's the upside down. Germany and Spain don't advance out of the group stages.
Yeah, but Spain did. So, and I think
No,
deservedly so. They were the best team in the group, and Germany's second best team. But you lose that first game, you run the risk, particularly if you have another strong team in the group, that you're not going to make it. And that's what happened.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. I don't think much of Spain or Germany. I
Mm.
don't. I think Spain's too young. Look how young the midfield is. Gavi, Pedri, too young, too young. And you look at they're another one of those teams. Nobody who can finish. I know they scored 7 goals. I know they scored 7 goals against Costa Rica, but another one of those teams who didn't really create much offense, and they could not actually finish.
I mean, they had 9 goals in the group stage in 3 games.
7 goals were against Costa Rica.
Okay. And they controlled the action again. When they won the World Cup, they were winning games 1-0 because they controlled the center of the park.
They don't. Okay. When they won the World Cup, they had Xavi, Iniesta. Look at the freaking team they had in the midfield. I could tell your brain's getting demented, Grumpy, as you get older. They're not
What
even
I'm
in the
saying
same
is
stratosphere.
they can, okay, when you have 83% possession, guess what? You're controlling the park. They did the same. They had like 60-something% against Germany. They were just they're a good team, but they don't have a finisher. Morata is their finisher. He scored again today. He scored, I think, 3 goals in this tournament now and has 2 assists. He's done a good job for them. Today was the first game he started. Every other game he's coming off the bench.
Alvaro Morata blows. Sorry.
Okay, I
He
disagree.
sucks. He sucks. You know what I mean? Awful. Awful, awful, awful. He's not world class. He's not world class. Oh, yeah, he scores goals. That's why all the time he's getting transferred in and out because nobody finds him worth value enough to keep. Alvaro Morata is trash. That entire here's the thing. Spain has 0 chance of winning a World Cup. Absolutely none, Grump. But it moves on. It moves us on out of this group to a group where there was a big exit from one of the favorites, Grumpy, in this year's tournament. Belgium does not make it past the group stages. And we had talked about them this last week about, is there some strife going on in the Belgium locker room? You got Vertonghen saying, oh, yeah, I guess it's because our forward group is so old, too. That's why we're not scoring goals. And, I thought it was a little bit of an angry response there to Kevin De Bruyne's comments about the team being too old. Vertonghen, definitely one of the older members on that team. But Belgium get knocked out of the World Cup in the group stage.
Again, another team, like we saw with the United States and Iran, they needed to win. And they just played so conservative all game for like the last 15 minutes. And then they just poured it on. It's like, why were you not doing this all game? I mean, you score a couple of goals early, you can coast to victory. And these teams, they wait and they wait and they wait and they wait, and they wind up not being able to turn it on at the end.
I don't even think it's the fact that they waited. Romelu Lukaku might have had the worst freaking one of the worst World Cup performances from a guy who's supposed to be a class player and supposed to be a top tier and upper echelon player, Grumpy.
Even the goofball announcers said you would think that it was Belgium who needed a draw to go through, because Croatia, who they had already qualified.
Did you not listen to what I just said?
I heard what you said. I heard what you said. But here's the thing. What I'm trying to say is they didn't play with any aggression early on. They just were passive, laying back until about the 15 minutes to go mark. Then all of a sudden, yes, Lukaku hits he hits a goalpost. Yes, he misses 3 or 4 shots. It was a terrible game.
Okay. You're talking about they sat back too late. They had 4 opportunities that were sitters, and their striker, Romelu Lukaku, missed every single one of them. It wasn't like because they waited till 15 minutes to press it on that they didn't get chances. They had chances. They just didn't execute.
If they had tried and been a little bit more aggressive early, maybe some of those chances turn out. I mean,
yeah, they didn't need 4 sitters. They needed 16 sitter opportunities.
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you're laying back the whole game. You don't even have a chance to score. I thought Croatia needed to win, and the announcer said the same thing. Croatia was pushing all the action. I mean, Belgium did nothing. And then 15 minutes, like, holy crap, we better, I guess it's time to show up.
You think
And they were the
Croatia needed
dominant
to win?
team.
That didn't make much sense. You think Croatia needed to win?
No, Croatia didn't need to win, but they played like they did.
Okay. That's a little
And
more
Belgium didn't. They laid back, just like Iran. Iran did the same damn thing against the United States. They needed a win to go through. The only way for the United States to go through was if they beat Iran. The United States got the goal in the first half, and all of a sudden, Iran just playing one guy up, two guys up, everybody hanging back till about 6 minutes to go in the game. Then they start. Not in fact, not even 6 minutes. It was 6 minutes into extra time before they did anything. It's like, dude, what's the difference you give at 15-0 or 1-0? It doesn't matter. If you don't win the game, you don't advance. I don't understand. Like I said, it's a coaching strategy, and it's just dumb.
Okay. The reason they lost was not due to coaching strategy today. And if you can't see that, I don't know what else would open
They
your
didn't
eyes.
press at all. Not till the end.
You had one player on your team who had 4 opportunities.
I don't care. I don't care. If you're only playing hard, if you're only trying to play hard for 15 minutes, if you're trying to play hard for 15 minutes, that's not good enough.
If the game is 0-0 and one guy has 4 opportunities from point blank and he misses every single one of them,
well, guess what?
Maybe it is on the coach because he left Lukaku in for 4 freaking opportunities where he just freaking shat his pants, Grump.
If they played for 90 minutes, you wear the other team out over the course of the game, and then they would have had maybe another 30 chances, and then someone would have put it in.
Okay. So we're not going to Grumpy's not going to place blame on the guy who misses 4 point blank opportunities. Instead, we're going to place it on 4 opportunities wasn't enough. 4 point blank opportunities wasn't enough for Lukaku. He needed 50.
Guess what?
70, maybe 100 chances in order to put one in.
The coach got his ass fired after the game. That tells you all you need to know.
Well, yeah,
the Federation didn't think he was smart enough either.
Why did he get himself fired?
Bye-bye, Mancini. You're gone. You weren't good enough to get a team that's ranked 2nd in the world out of the group stages. Bye-bye.
Why was he fired? Why was he fired?
Bye-bye. Because his team didn't advance. That's why. His team didn't advance.
That and Belgium was been one of the best teams for years. And I mean years. And they have come away with absolutely nothing. The golden boy generation, grumpy old man. Look at how many of those players were world-class or next to world-class players. Courtois in net. You look at that back line 4 years ago. Unbelievably talented. Still is, I think, a good back line. You got Kevin De Bruyne. The midfield was stout. You have wingers. Eden Hazard. You had so much talent, and he just never won anything. Of course he's going to be fired.
They're old now. They're old now. That's just what it is. It was a golden generation. They never won. And to me, I never ever thought they were a threat to win anything. They just managed to lose something. You don't have that something to put you over the top. I never felt that Belgium did. They didn't win.
The reason why Belgium can't win because they don't have the striker either.
No, the reason they can't
do not have. Hold on. Wait for a second, please. Teams that don't have the elite level striker or the guy who can finish and put the ball in the net when things get tough do not win. Tell me the last World Cup winner that's won without a top tier world class striker. I couldn't.
Okay, so you finished?
Are you going to respond to my question? Did you listen when I asked?
Who's France's striker last time out?
Mbappe.
No, he's a freaking winger. He's not a striker. Wrong.
Antoine Griezmann.
No,
Antoine Griezmann and Mbappe. They all played forward.
Oliver Giroud, who does nothing.
Olivier Giroud, first off. He was not the striker for them.
He absolutely was a striker. Absolutely was. Who do you think's a striker for them now? It's not Griezmann. He plays, but he's not the striker. It's Giroud. It was supposed to be Benzema. Benzema got hurt. It's Giroud who's the striker now. The same guy who was 4 years ago. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Here, let's just pull up. You continue with your little point because I'm just
the thing that beat Belgium today is they were too passive for the whole match. When you're passive, Uruguay did the same thing against Portugal. Passive, lay back, soak up pressure, and then hope for a counterattack. That's not the way that team should be built. They should be attacking all the time, that Belgium team. They didn't, and it cost them today because they turned the switch on, but it was too late. That's what happened. Yes, guys miss chances. They miss chances all the time. They should have been right from the get-go. They needed a win to go through. They should have put pressure on immediately against Croatia. Immediately. They didn't do it.
Please
done.
fix that microphone. Please fix that
There's
microphone.
nothing wrong with the microphone. It's where you like
Please flip it so I don't hear it rolling on your shirts all the
it. So
time.
I'm just going to put it right here, and then whatever it is what it's going to be. And you'll just have to learn to adjust.
I will have to learn to adjust. That's cute. Yeah, Giroux was the striker last year.
No kidding.
Giroux.
No kidding. So
Giroux,
there you go. Where's the peanut? Well, they did it last time.
Olivier Giroux.
Who was the striker for Germany in 2014?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Thank you very much, because they didn't have an elite striker then.
I thought it was
Just
close.
went through the whole thing saying how Germany.
I thought it was close.
No.
Oh, he wasn't a starter? No. How many goals did he have? How many goals did he have, Grump?
Zip it. Here's the thing. We just went through the whole segment how Germany never produces strikers, and then you make this other ridiculous assertion. The last two teams who've won it have not had an elite striker. Period.
Okay, Miroslav Klose, Grumpy.
He's not an elite striker.
Klose had more before Ronaldo set that record. He had the most World Cup goals recorded in history before Cristiano came around and broke the shit out of that record. So that's a real way to put that. Klose is not one of those world-class strikers. He had seven World Cup goals, Grumpy. What are you talking about? He had the most World Cup goals before Cristiano broke that record.
How many World Cups he played in? 3?
Played in 4, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, there you go. That's why. And what, he got 9 goals?
I don't even remember how many goals he had, but he led at one point before Cristiano took that away.
He wasn't their striker then. He was a backup at that point.
Okay, so in the starting lineup, you're wrong. In the starting lineup that game, just like I said, Giroux was in the starting lineup. Klose was in the starting lineup that game for Germany.
But he's not an elite striker, right? Let's be honest. He's not. He's not.
Guy performed. You cannot have your striker.
How many goals did he have in the game where they scored 7 against Brazil? How many goals did he have?
Hold on. I don't even think he was a part of that squad when they got beat.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. He wasn't the striker for that team. You just told me he was.
You go, Grumpy, because you don't see it. Here it is. You go, Grumpy. Hey, what does that name say real quick? Thank you so much. Miroslav Klose. You done?
Oh, he had 0 goals. That's right. 1-0.
He had 0 goals.
That's right. They won 1-0. I remember now. Yes.
Yeah. Goatsa. Yeah, if you weren't watching TV, you'd be a little bit of fall on the same wavelength. But yeah, I mean, like, it's really tough to win a World Cup without. Oh, let me rephrase it. Without elite level forwards. Is that better for you?
That's fine. That's fine. You can say that.
You got to put the ball in the net. Usually, your striker does that. When your striker can't put the ball in the fucking net, you're going to struggle. When Belgium striker Romelu Lukaku misses 4 sitters, you're going to struggle.
You have Kevin De Bruyne.
He plays midfield.
But he scores a lot of goals. I mean, here's the thing. They didn't play like the game meant enough to them. They weren't aggressive enough. They needed a win. They didn't play like they needed a win. Not till the last 15 minutes. They got what they deserved. You got to, and that's on the coach. That's strategy from the coach. Let's just float. Let's just cruise and go in cruise control. Try to pick up a game late. That's why you're done. Bye-bye. That's why he got fired. Bye-bye.
He got fired because of consistent lack of performance. It's not just one freaking time. They had over 3. They were expected to score with the prime opportunities they had. They were expected to score over 3 goals today. Romelu Lukaku missed every single one of those opportunities.
3 goals when all you're doing is laying back and not attacking.
I could just tell maybe you just turned the game off or was sleeping, Grumpy.
It was a total strategic blunder by Martinez. Total blunder by him. Total blunder. He got what he does, Mancini. He got exactly what he deserved. Sorry.
I like Martini better.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The whole thing is you're expected to score 3 goals. Well, you're not going to score 3 goals laying back for 75 minutes. That's not going to happen. Stop. Let me tell you what Argentina did yesterday. They needed a win. You know what they did? They pressed from the opening minute. And that's, you know what? And that's what they said. We need a win. That's how they went out and they got themselves a win. It took them forever, but they got themselves a win.
They played miserable Poland. They had
but here's the thing. They could have laid back the whole game and tried to score in the last 15 minutes. They wouldn't have advanced. They pressed the whole game, and it took them till the 60th minute in the second half to get that first goal because they were pressing the whole game. They didn't. That's one thing Belgium didn't do. They deserve to be eliminated. Sorry. That's just the way it is. It was a tactical mistake. Total tactical mistake. They're done.
I have 3 expected goals against. Croatia is impressive. I mean, when you're playing Poland, it's a different story. And I will say this too, Mexico, another one of those teams moving along. Mexico and Denmark, 2 teams that were expected to advance out of their groups, both failed. It's pretty much
Mexico,
every single group has one team that just completely that you expect to be maybe a dark horse or to have talent that just flops.
Mexico had no scoring. That was a problem going into the tournament. They were lacking scoring.
Yep.
You give up a goal, that's it. They're almost done. Who'd they score against? They didn't score until yesterday was the first time they scored against crappy Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, they
They
hadn't
scored
scored a
2
goal
goals.
all tournament long until the last game.
That's it. And what did they do? You know what? Even at the end, I'm going to give Mexico credit. They needed another goal to advance. Press, press, press. It cost them a goal at the end. But what the hell's the difference if you lose 2, if you win 2-0 and get eliminated, or win 2-1 and get eliminated? They were pressing, pressing, pressing.
Even if they won 3-1, they would have still advanced because they would have had more goals. How about the freaking nuts, the ridiculous, the ridiculous tiebreaker system now? So it's going on a fair play, and it didn't have to be. It didn't come technically into use yet, but they've determined going forward if teams are tied in goal differential and goals scored in the rare situations that they are, like Mexico was midway through or towards the tail end of their game, they were tied with Poland in goals scored and goal differential. Then it goes based off of who has the most yellow cards. Whoever has the least amount of yellow cards advances. Whoever has the most yellow cards gets the boot. I think that is just absurd.
I think that's absurd also. The reason being, some of these games are refereed where they let everything go. Some are refereed like, hey, every little ticky-tack thing, I'm throwing a card. You know, all referees are not the same.
Yeah.
I just think that's an asinine way to determine a team that advances. I agree.
I was about to say, who the hell was it the first few games who was for Qatar that was calling anything and everything a card? Just, I mean, throwing out fouls, cards left and right just makes absolutely no sense. And you think to yourself, I'm like, there's going to be so many reds in the second half. They had to must a microphone down. I'm like, hey, buddy, you're not officiating in the Saudi league here. These guys are playing for the World Cup. We can't have the entire team with reds out there, double yellows. So it forced Mexico to have to continue to push, because here's the thing: if Mexico didn't have that ridiculous rule and there was a different tiebreaker system, or how the teams did head to head, I think they actually drew each other. So maybe they go based off of like pre-ranking coming in. Well, great. It means Mexico didn't have to push that hard, wouldn't have given up that goal, and they would have advanced. But Mexico, their manager was gone immediately after not advancing past the group stages. The first time I think they haven't advanced past the group stages since like 1980s.
Maybe a rule they should put in is every game has to have a winner. There are no ties.
Sure.
And, a tie gives you the loser point, whatever, but it's 3 points for a win, 1 for a tie, 0. Play, even if you go to shootout, whatever, we'll play 2 15-minute extra quarters like they do in Champions League knockout stages. And then, you can go goal differential, all that crap. Goal scored, something like that.
I think it's too much to have all these games, right? If you're drawing, you're playing an extra 30 minutes every night for the group stages, and then if you get past for the knockout stages, that's just a lot of extra soccer for these guys who are all playing at the club level and all in season. I'm fine with, as soon as the 90 minutes is up, just going down and saying, here's shootout. Whoever wins, wins. Whoever doesn't, doesn't. And, the most you'll get maybe maybe let's say there's somehow a tie. Whatever team has the most wins during regulation gets the advance. Whoever had more wins during shootout doesn't advance. I mean, that's the simplest way to do it, instead of this bullshit yellow card nonsense, because it may not affect anybody this year or this time period during the World Cup, but one day it will, and it's going to be an absolute load of crap.
Yep. That's when they'll change the rule.
Yep.
If a big team gets knocked out because of something like that, the TV network's going to go, what the hell? You eliminated Brazil to put in Piddly Pump, Liechtenstein or something like that because of an extra yellow card. No. That's no good for TV ratings.
let me ask you this: do you think German fans have a right to be a little upset that this was ruled in play? So this was Japan. They kept this ball in play, and this led to a goal for Japan. And
Yeah.
effectively, it forced Germany out of it forced Germany out of a spot.
That's why VAR is supposed to be there, is for things like that, to correct those errors. And if they don't, just let it go. They use VAR. Oh, well, it's this much, a quarter of an inch off, disallow a goal, and they let shit like that happen. That's why I don't like it. Unless it's really egregious, like, oh, come on, that looks really bad. They shouldn't be checking every single thing every single time. Sorry. It ruins. Instant replay has ruined sports. Ruined it. Officials are going to make mistakes. It just happens. But
Yeah.
you see it in college basketball. Well, gosh, look at the ball was spinning this way. It looks like maybe it touched his finger because it just started turning another way, and they overrule it in national championship game. I'm like, are you kidding me? They're supposed to be egregious errors. Stop going and looking at everything in the last 2 minutes. It's too much. Too much. It's an imperfect games played by imperfect people, reffed by imperfect people. Mistakes are going to happen. Sorry. You look at how they spot the ball on the football field. Nobody even looks at the spot for any of the downs except for the last one.
Yep.
When
Just
that one's a
kinda
half
this is
yard
where it
short.
goes.
They just mark it short or they mark it up. Nobody says anything. Well, it has a difference over the course of the game, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just like, this is kind of where it is. You're not going to argue too much unless it has a direct impact on first down or not. And if it's in a crunch time period, you just don't care.
True.
Drew L says, hey, TJ and Grumpy. TJ, I sent you something Grump would love to see, because I know Grump was really high on Kayvon Thibodeau. Ooh, he was not. Guess who was very high on Kayvon Thibodeau? Don't worry. Hey, Grumpy, who was high on Kayvon Thibodeau? Do you remember that?
You were. And I didn't say I wasn't high on him. I just said he disappeared in a lot of games, and he's got a lot of me guy in him. That's all I said.
You didn't like him because you thought he was a me guy. I told you the guy can flat out play. He's a talented, special guy. Well, thank you, Drew L., for proving me right once again. Highest graded rookie edge rushers for the season by Pro Football Focus. I don't even need Pro Football Focus to tell me. I can tell you he grades out well. He plays well. Look at that, Grumpy. Right below Aiden Hutchinson. Looky there.
That's where he was drafted, right below him, right?
Trayvon Walker.
Look who he plays for.
Yeah.
They have him they have Trayvon Walker in a different role, though, too.
That's true. But yeah.
George and the same thing with the guy who's third, Abikatai. He's a total just a rush linebacker edge guy. Where the guy for the Chiefs, he plays a more balanced line position too. He's more comparable to what they do with Walker. He's played, to me, he's looked really good.
I tell you one thing. I tell you one player who's looked really good, Grumpy. Kayvon Thibodeau, Grump. That's all I've got to say. You know who else has looked great? Evan Neal. You know who hasn't looked great? Akeem Ekwonu. Not at the same level as Evan Neal, I'll tell you that much. So, it's just I love that Giants draft, and it looks better and better as every day goes.
Where was Neal drafted?
Was he like 6th?
No. 7? 5? 5, I think, right?
It had to be later than that. I tell you, it's crazy how quick the year blows by, and we're not even that far removed from the NFL draft. Is the weird part. 7th. Okay. 7th. Okay. Well, we were there. We were close. 5, 6, all these numbers were thrown out there, but pick number 7. Akeem Ekwonu is just, Evan Neal, I thought, has played really well this year. Very happy, pleased with what I've seen from him. Another guy who's had a real bounce back year, Andrew Thomas. He's had a really solid year so far this year.
Yeah, he's been better than he was last year with that.
He absolutely struggled last year. Yeah. Struggled preseason, looked miserable, and had a great year this year. So I've got to give him credit where credit's due. Yep. Andrew L. saying, I had France and Germany in the final.
I didn't have Germany. I thought they'd qualify for the knockout stage, but didn't have them going farther. They've not looked well for the last 2 years. They got eliminated early in the Euros. They were knocked out in the group stage in the last World Cup. They're they're just down right now. They'll be back, but they're down right now.
Going to take them a while, that's for certain. But you're not going to see
Missing
France in the finals either.
Losing Tony Cruz, who decided not to play European football after, I don't know if it was the Euros. I think maybe it was the last Euros. He said he's done with that. That hurt them because of how solid he is in the midfield.
Yeah. Puts different pressure on players that usually they wouldn't receive. I mean, they still have a solid midfield. I still always like Germany's midfield. I mean, like Leon Goretzka is a good midfield. They've got a good solid midfield. It's just up top. Nobody could put the ball in the net.
They're slow. They're slow.
That too.
That's the big issue.
Sané's out, but Sané is quick, but Sané was out.
He's 31 also. He's 31.
Sané's not 31. Sané's like 26.
Okay, I think you're mistaken.
Average 27. I had it up earlier. I was looking at their ages when I was doing that earlier. But Sané, who didn't play, he's 26 years old. Birthday January 11th, 1996. It's one of those to where you think to yourself, Germany just has a lot of holes in that team, and France is a team to where they've got unbelievable depth, but I still think their midfield is going to be what gives them the issues.
They're really strong up top, though.
Yeah.
And if they go deep enough in the tournament, Benzema could be back.
I did see that.
If he comes back, they're going to be tough to beat. Mbappe is like he's on a mission. He's been phenomenal.
This is the best football I've seen him play
ever.
I'm not sure I'll say ever because I don't watch enough of him, but this is much better than what you usually see from him on a club level, on Champions League level. This is the best football I've seen him play in quite some time.
He's been really, really good this tournament.
Why the hell is he only waking up for the World Cups is my question. Because I'm critical of Mbappe. He gets a great rep. I think he does some things extremely well. I think he's a world-class player. But sometimes it's like he's just invisible. He disappears. He's been dominant in this World Cup. Unbelievable. So, I just think the midfield and the injuries are going to hurt France. Drew L. said Japan winning was so bittersweet. It's kind of was revenge for what Germany did back to them in the 1940s. If you know, you know. Oh, God.
I don't think Germany did anything to Japan.
I couldn't even tell you if they did. Andrew L. says, Cole Bardreau is back, boys. And whoever the hell that fashion guy is.
What does it tell you? We're a little don't have a whole lot of depth in the organization, right?
Oh, Simon Holmstrom was doing so great. He deserved all that power play time, guys. He looked so great out there on the ice. Yeah, he didn't.
He sucks.
Yeah.
He sucks. He's a lot like Bailey. He played one game where he was kind of acceptable in game one.
First game.
That he was invisible.
Yep. Goon says, with the injury announcement of Palmieri, the Islanders are going to start getting a few injuries. Oh, no. I wonder how we're going to perform without our magical Kyle Palmieris. I still think, here's the thing. There's a drop-off from Kyle Palmieri to Cole Bardreau, right? So, when we talk about the overall play on the ice, it might drop a bit. Not a substantial amount, I don't believe. But it was really wise of Lazy Lou to have unloaded Kiefer Bellows for Diddley.
Well, not for Diddley, for absolutely nothing.
Bellows was waived today by the Flyers.
Oh, well, maybe we can bring him back.
Fans are saying, no, we don't want him back. They don't want
him back. That's fine. I mean, whatever. Now, did the Islanders play tomorrow against Nashville?
Yes, Friday.
Well, it's nice Nashville's got a back-to-back game. That should help the Islanders out tomorrow.
I'm sure it will. Hey, the Islanders have such a tough part of their schedule. They're always getting the bad part of the schedule. Oh no. I tell you, that always pisses me off when they talk about that 13-game road trip. Did you see the Vancouver Canucks complaining when the Winter Olympics were held in Vancouver and they had to go on a huge long road trip during the Winter Olympics? Hell no. You didn't see any of that.
Okay. Maybe they did, and maybe we just didn't hear about it.
We followed the Canucks at that time. Bobby Lou was on it. Roberto Luongo. We followed the Canucks at that time with Roberto Luongo because the Islanders are miserable.
Right, but we certainly didn't hear about it like when we watched the games. But I don't know what the Vancouver papers were saying. I don't know.
Drew L. said, we need to put some respect on Japan. They're a young and scrappy team. Our beloved United States do not play like that. we are solely dependent on possession.
Yeah, we're going to lose to the Netherlands on Saturday. You can book that now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance we beat them. And here's the thing.
Here's the thing. You're not going to see Holland laying back and letting the United States dominate possession. That's not what they do.
I don't
They
think
press.
I don't think Holland's a great team. I think that Argentina has a freaking cakewalk into the quarters. Into the semis, I'm sorry. Absolute cakewalk. They play Australia, and then they're going to play either Holland or the US. Wow. What a tough road for the marvelous midget.
They can be beaten by Holland. They can't be beaten by the United States.
Much of Holland. You like Holland. You have to be fair. You are a Holland hunk. A hunk for Holland.
I do like Holland. Holland's defense is better than anything that Argentina's seen so far.
I don't think Argentina is that good of I think Argentina is not a good. I don't think they're a good team.
Here's the problem with Holland. Even Gapko is playing really well and knocking goals in. Yeah. They don't have a striker either.
Memphis Depay is not the same guy he used to be.
He's hurt.
Okay. Even though he's in his 30s, he's not the same guy he used to be.
He's hurt. He's injured. That's why he's not even this full-time starter right now, because he's injured.
Plays every game.
But he's been injured. He's not playing full games. He comes on late. He'll start. He'll go off early. He's hurt. He came into the tournament injured. They kept him, hoping he'd be able to build up stamina if they went deep enough. I mean, but their midfield, I think they're one guy short in midfield. They have Frankie de Jong, but I still think they're short of a defensive midfielder that they really need. But Louis van Gaal, don't sell him short. He's a really good coach. Really good.
The goaltender, I can't even remember his name. Noppert, whoever the hell he is. He's not a guy that strikes fear in anybody's heart. Beside Ake and I like Dumfries, Ake and
Van Dijk.
Virgil van Dijk. Okay, Davy Blind.
Yeah, he's too slow.
That's why they have to run 5 in the back, because the guys just can't do it at the same level as some of the other guys if you give them enough open space and room to run.
It's true. They're running 5-3-2 is what they're running.
That's not going to bode well against Argentina, I don't think. Unless you can catch them on the break and you're able to hit them with a counter.
You absolutely can catch them on the counter. Okay. Absolutely you can.
That's the recipe for them to beat. If both of the favorites move on, because Australia is, I think, a cakewalk. They're going to walk over Australia, no issues at all. Argentina will.
Long story short, it's going to be France and Brazil in the final.
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
Correct.
Who's going to beat them?
Portugal, Grumpy.
Oh, no way. No way. Their defense sucks.
Portugal, Grump.
Sorry. No.
Shut out Uruguay.
They're deep. That's because Uruguay laid back the whole game till they went down 1-0. Then they started pressing. It's so asinine. You know what? That's what the loser teams do. The teams that are really bad, they just lay back, hope for a draw, hope for a counterattack.
You remember my dark horse team, really quickly, one more item on the World Cup. You remember my dark horse team I was talking about in that Belgium and Croatia bracket? I told you they're my dark horse team, and you laughed it off. Remember who they were? Starts with an M. Morocco. Told you Morocco were my dark horse team. Keep a freaking eye out for Morocco.
Yeah, they're going to lose to Spain next round, and that'll be that.
They don't play Spain next round.
They play Spain.
They're going to take down Spain, Grumpy.
They're going to lose to Spain.
Morocco is a team to watch out for, ladies and gents. A lot of speed, a lot of pace.
Canada. Okay, no, Canada shit the bed today against them. I mean, it was terrible goaltending. I don't know what the hell they were doing. They gave up. I mean, if you see the highlights, here's the thing. Morocco is no great shakes. Sorry. They'll lose to Spain, and then Spain will probably beat Portugal. That's what's going to wind up happening.
A lot of speed on that Moroccan team. That's all I'm telling you. A lot of speed, Grump. Tony Cheese, the Procreator, says, I heard, oh gosh. Oh, no. I tell you, that's a whole different can of worms there, Tony Cheese. Mario says, watch out for Japan. They've shown to be the most consistent team. And he said, I told you so about Japan. Okay. They made Spain look like the island. They can look like Islanders slow.
They only possessed the ball 17% of the game. They had a couple of counterattacks.
Mario
And
said
Spain had a billion chances on them. They just, right at the goalie, hitting crossbars,
Spain
over
doesn't
the
have a
top,
striker,
hitting
ladies and
posts.
gentlemen.
It
When you don't have somebody who
happens.
can put the freaking
It
ball in the net, you
happens.
don't
It
win games.
happens. It happens.
Mario also said, when I made that comment about Japan beating Spain, TJ, you said you could not see it. You're right. Least amount of possession ever recorded in a World Cup game with a victory.
Ever.
So,
Ever.
Andriel said the Devils choked that away quick. And
They got a loser point, but Nashville beat them.
Gungun says, an idea. Put a poll up asking who thinks soccer/football is exciting or a crashing bore. We don't have enough subscribers on this channel to do polls mid video, I don't think.
I know, that's why you got to get your friends to subscribe.
Jake Bellows, how are you doing? We want Kiefer back. Bring him back. He says, good evening, gents. What's up, Jake? How are you? Tony Cheese says, I'll give C. I'll give it a chance every 4 years.
What's every 4 years?
Hold on a second. Do you see who's in that picture, grumpy old man? I don't think you can.
It looks like me. It looks like, is that Delaney?
No.
All right, there's somebody in the middle. It's Tony Cheese. Look at that. And TJ. Photoshop is a dangerous thing.
Hold on a second. Look at Tony Cheese was with us, Grumpy. We just didn't see him in Dallas.
Didn't realize it. I knew he was short, but I didn't know he was that short.
He does have long hair, despite being follically challenged. Yeah. He does have some long hair. Maybe he's just got like the mullet down there.
True.
Oh, good gracious. I like that. Good says, Grumpy, who are you more excited to see walk through the front door? Son X or Dog X?
It's Dog Z and Dog Z.
Tony
Son X, whenever he's visiting, it means my refrigerator is going to be emptied out. Something dumb is going to happen. Oh, no, that's when TJ shows up. Same thing, really, same difference. No, the dog, I know what to expect out of him.
Okay. Tony G says, once America's out, I'm pretty much out. That's how a lot of normal fans are too.
Yeah.
And keep behind the country, and that's about it. Drew L said, some guy, whilst I was eating lunch at my school cafeteria, saw that Morocco won and started making loud noises out of excitement. Let's just say he got laughed at by almost everyone.
Oh, are they allowed to laugh at people anymore? I thought that was illegal. Cancel everyone who laughed at him.
Oh, James F. Thank you for reminding me. Says, TJ, did you show the video when McVay got hit in the jaw? No, we did not. Did you happen to see that, Grumpy, with McVay?
I did not see it.
My God.
I take it that Sean McVay took a little shot to the chops.
That's one way of putting it. And I'm glad this person put it in slow motion. He got tattooed, Grumpy. Absolutely tattooed.
On purpose or?
By accident, inadvertent. So, obviously I'm happy this is in slow motion. So, but I mean, even live time, it looks like a hell of a hit, Grumpy. I'll let you watch.
Oh, look at that. Looks like Jersey Joe Walcott taking that punch from Joe Louis or Rocky Marciano back in the day.
I mean, he just gets tattooed, Grumpy.
Can you do it regular speed to see what it looks like?
Okay, I'll try to get regular speed. Give me a sec.
We want a little regular speed action on that.
Why don't you talk about something else as we're getting that pulled?
Well, I'm so excited about watching Sean McVay take a shot like that. It was definitely a bullet to the head. And he took it. He didn't go down. I like that about him. Boom. Oh, yeah. Knocked his little headset off and everything. He's on
McVay placed. Oh, man, I tell you,
he's on wobbly leg street right now. Took a shot to the head.
Concussion protocol, Grumpy. Bam! Boom. And that's even still slow motion.
Yeah. Not even an apology from number 49.
I want to see if I can find something that's just like normal speed. But everybody wants to watch it in slow-mo. Oof. My God. Yikes. So, yes, James, thank you for reminding me. Alexander says, hey, what's up, you guys? Hope you all are well. I'm off of work today, so I have a chance to sit down and relax. What's up, Alexander?
Who are the Dolphins going to lose to this weekend?
I don't even know.
No, I think they played the Rams, I think.
Tony Cheese, Grumpy Old Man says, I never hear microphone issues on Grumpy side, so I stand by my theory that TJ's using it as a power move.
Exactly.
I know you're lying. I know everybody hears that little. Maybe I'm just a freaking stickler for the sound of it.
Maybe you just a freak, moron. I don't know what to tell you.
Goon, Grumpy. Comment for you.
Perhaps Grumpy is trying to communicate with whales and dolphins via his faulty microphone placement on his shirt.
There it is. Goon hears the faulty. Thank you, Goon. He hears the faulty microphone.
I don't know if he hears it. Maybe he's just saying it because you are
does.
just so anal when it comes to just about everything.
It's been verified. Andrew L said, "Did you guys see the new Pepsi campaign? Seems like a drink Grumpy would enjoy." I don't know what it is, but I assume that is. I think it's being used in jest, but let's see here.
Probably. I don't drink Pepsi.
You don't drink any type of soda, do you?
I do not. I drink grape drink.
Oh my God. This is holy shit. Okay, hold on a second. This is heinous. If this is Grumpy, let me ask you this. What is something that you would enjoy mixing Pepsi or a soda beverage with?
I don't drink soda.
Do you like to mix? Do you like
hamburgers and French fries? How about that?
Hamburgers and French fries. Okay. I mean, is there anything you like to put in your
Coke? Because I don't like Pepsi. I like Coke. Coke products.
Let's talk about Coke. It's all soft drinks. Okay. Is there anything you like to mix with your soft drinks? Some people like to mix rum, maybe alcohol, not alcohol included.
No,
what do you like to mix maybe with your?
I don't even put ice in my drinks.
Okay. Don't even put ice in your drinks.
Nope. You got to remember when I worked in a pizzeria, it came out cold out of the machine. Ice just dilutes the drink. Just put it in the refrigerator, pour it in, ready to go. I don't need ice. Oh, hello. Pour it on top of this girl. Okay, I can live with
Lindsay
that.
Lohan. Do you see what that says? Pepsi has launched a campaign encouraging customers to mix milk into their soda. Yes, unveiled its latest campaign Thursday, encouraging those who enjoy milk and cookies to add a surprising and naughty new twist by adding Pepsi to the milk, or milk to the Pepsi, better yet.
Okay, whatever. No, I've never done that.
Hold on. That's the response? Okay, whatever. They're mixing fucking milk and Pepsi, and your response is, oh, okay, whatever. What is wrong with you?
So I should erupt over someone putting milk in their Pepsi?
Yes, you're erupting that Belgium's keeping their guys back, and despite Lukaku having 4 point-blank chances. And now you're seeing here people are mixing milk and Pepsi, and your response is, well, okay, that's it? Pilk? You don't have any response to the delicious new drink, Pilk, grumpy old man?
Actually, I'm more upset that they tried to invent a new word, Pilk. That's Pilk embarrassing enough.
This does not look disgusting to you.
Do you get a date with Lindsay Lohan? That's what I want to know. Well,
you do not get a date with Lindsay Lohan. They'll keep showing you Lindsay Lohan as many times as you can. Oh my God. It's not good.
Hello, Lindsay. It's funny because I just watched a Christmas movie with the warden, and she looked kind of every bit of her 36 years old.
Oh yeah. I saw she's been making the rounds on the.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least she's come out the other side from where she was with all the the issues she was having.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'll tell you,
she looks older than 36. I'm just going to say that.
Oh my gosh,
she looks like she'd been rode hard and hung up wet.
Jesus, Tony Cheese sent me something, and I assume it's not going to be flattering. I don't know why Tony Cheese. Remember the job that Tony Cheese has, grumpy old man?
He's supposed to do two things. He's supposed to eliminate any of the bad comments that come up, and he's supposed to do the TJ Grumpy Old Man clips channel.
Look at this clip. 5 seconds.
Oh shit! Doing the little lick.
What the fuck? I'm glad that is what was grabbed. Tony Cheese.
Honestly,
I'm glad.
That's something that could go viral.
Stop. Don't even joke like that.
What's this?
I don't know what you were saying, Grumpy, but that was I'm getting pissed off as shit. Look at you, Grumpy. I don't even remember what for. John McManaman. What's up, John? He says, good evening, gentlemen. Auburn has a winning coach. Freeze has 9 wins next year. Favorable schedule. Grumpy, new shirt coming from St. Nick.
Hey, that's what I like. No problem there. Hugh Freeze, formerly of Ole Miss.
I like the hire. I think he's a good coach.
Yeah. better off than Deion Sanders. Supposedly, some schools have offered Deion Sanders,
Colorado.
not SEC schools though. He needs to build up his resume a little bit before he gets a head coach job there.
Colorado. Yeah, I know their school.
Colorado blows.
Here's the thing. If I'm Colorado at a team like that, I'm throwing any freaking money I can at Deion Sanders, hoping he can help put us on the right track or help put us on track and then go somewhere else. And then we can upgrade, because think about how long Colorado has been on the freaking treadmill of sub mediocrity.
Ooh,
a long time. I was going to say, I wouldn't even call it mediocre, sub mediocrity.
Okay. That's cool. I think they've been poor. I don't know if he's a fit there. I mean, he's an acquired taste at best. Let's be honest.
You don't like Deion Sanders?
As somebody I'm going to give a football program to, no.
What are you worried about with him?
I
like Deion Sanders. No, bullshit.
Ugh.
Have you actually watched him coach?
I watch him.
You remember what he used to do as a damn player.
I don't think much of him. I think he'd be a good position. Head guy? No.
Why?
Not yet. Not yet.
Why don't you think much of him?
I just don't.
Why?
I just don't like his antics. I just think you have to carry. It's the same way I don't like Dan Campbell. You have to carry yourself a certain way to be in charge of a program.
Is it weird that I like both of those coaches?
No, it just shows what a loser you are.
Here's the thing. In college, your job as a head coach is to bring in recruits and to keep things organized and to run a tight ship.
Win games.
Okay, trust me. Deion's going to win games.
Oh, okay.
Time's going to win games, Grumpy.
Sure he is. Sure.
He brings in the best recruits.
How do you handle adversity?
Think about all the top-tier recruits he was bringing into freaking HBCU schools.
How do you handle adversity? It's one thing in
HBCU, Grumpy.
Yeah. It's one thing to be one of those schools and to be a school in the Power 5 conference. It's different.
I understand it's different.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
He's got a lot of pull. He would pull out one of the best recruiting classes his first year at the school.
Okay. I doubt that.
You don't think he'll pull out a top? Could you imagine him? Could you imagine him at Florida State? Imagine him at one of those teams, or even a team that's fallen off the wagon. Imagine him at one of those teams that's a blue blood name. He would bring in a top 10 recruiting class, no doubt about it.
I don't. I think he is dependent on where he's going. I don't think that. Now, here's the thing. What has Colorado got to lose? When was the last time they had a winning season? I couldn't even tell you. But is that a good fit for him? I don't know. I mean, it's NIL deals is what it's all about now, even more than the coach recruiting.
Who sells more NIL than anybody else? Who's the guy who could sell
Lincoln Riley of USC, who's in the top 4 now.
Don't try to move this.
1 year ahead of schedule. A year ahead of schedule.
Here's the thing. This weekend, Grumpy, on Sunday, I'm going to be doing this with a big ass smile, a shit-eating grin on my face once those damn USC Trojans get their asses whooped in the Pac-12. Absolutely obliterated, Grumpy. USC Trojans are going down.
You've been talking shit about the University of Southern California Trojans all year. All I said is when he went there, within 2 years, they were going to be in the bowl championship series.
Correct.
Within 2 years. That's what I said. That was the only thing I said. He could be there in 1 year. He's one victory away from being there in 1 year.
He's one loss away, another loss to Utah away from freaking patering right back to what Lincoln Riley does. In the big moments, the guy.
They're going to beat Utah. They're going to beat
Utah. Is maybe going to put up 150 points on USC Trojans, on the USC Trojans this weekend, Grumpy. 150-0 Utah victory.
Okay. You know what? You want to put a little money on that?
The Utes, baby.
Because you talk awful.
Utes.
At the end of the day, they're not losing to Utah again. They were up by 10 points with 5 minutes to go, and they got conservative on offense. That's the thing that Lincoln Riley does. And
he almost collapses at the end of every game. The only thing that's saved in the last 2 weeks is quarterbacks just throwing picks. UCLA, Notre Dame.
You mean the guy who's going to win the Heisman Trophy this year? Once again? What does he do? He's the quarterback whisperer.
Okay, no. I said not him. I'm talking about the other teams. If you'd listen, UCLA and Notre Dame, their quarterbacks on game-winning drives throw picks right down at the end. USC is not beating. USC is not a good team. Not a good team. They play in the. There's no way you can convince me the Pac-12 is a good conference. No freaking way. I think there's only two good conferences in college football, the SEC and the Big Ten. Everybody else is second tier. It's not even close. And I'm a big ACC guy. It's the SEC and the Big Ten are the only two football conferences.
I'm going to make another prediction right now. I'm going to make another prediction right now.
Sure.
If TCU loses, because USC is winning this week, I firmly believe that. They'll beat Utah. They lost to Utah in Utah the last second. They lost. That's a game they never should have lost. They should be undefeated.
They did, though. They did. And Lincoln Riley he finds ways.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. They're not playing in Utah this time. They're not. So it's not a road game for them in a hostile environment.
So their asses are going to get whooped on a neutral site then.
Okay, let's say they win. And here's the thing. If TCU loses, USC is going to play against number 2 Michigan. They're going to beat Michigan. They're going to beat Michigan. Michigan's running back out for the year today. He's out for the year.
Okay, here's the thing. They can plug and play whoever they want there at running back. You kidding me?
You watch. I don't think USC is a great team. It's Georgia. All right, let's be honest. It's Georgia this year. I just think that Georgia's better than everybody else. They know how to win. But USC they've actually gone further than I thought. I thought it was going to be 2 years. It potentially is going to be 1 year. I mean, he's just that good at what he does.
Donovan Edwards is the real freaking deal. I remember covering him when he was a kid out of high school. Donovan Edwards is the real deal. He's going to take up and have not miss a beat. There's the Michigan running back.
All right.
He's the real freaking deal.
We'll see. I mean, you were poo-pooing USC making the Final Four, running me down all year. When I first made that call, the day he was hired, the Sunday he was hired that Sunday, and I said, within 2 years, they'd be a Final Four team. And you've been on me ever since saying how stupid I am, how wrong I am. What's the one thing you've learned? You should have learned in your whole life living with me. I'm never wrong. And here's the thing. I'm not going to be wrong on this one.
Here it is, Grumpy. When I'm right, what's going to happen? I cannot recall.
The earth is going to split in half. Dogs and cats are going to play together. Mountains are going to erupt. Volcanoes are going to overflow when TJ's correct on anything. That's what's going to happen because then you'll know the apocalypse is upon us.
Give me one football-related topic I've ever been wrong on. Just one. One is what I'm asking for.
Just one?
Are you going to talk about Kyler Murray? Was I wrong on him? Was I wrong on Baker Mayfield? Was I wrong on any of these guys? Grumpy, I'm ready to hear. What have I been wrong on, Grumpy, football-wise?
USC qualified.
Hold on. It's not Grumpy. There's still another week left. And Utah, the Utes are going to show those Trojans what's up, Grumpy.
Saying that every week.
And every week, it's just building up until this week. This weekend is Saturday.
Every week, USC beats somebody else. They keep on moving up. And I'm like, it's coming. The wave is coming. The tidal wave is coming.
Saturday. Come out at the neutral site game to see Utah beat the living shit out of the USC Trojans. 150-0.
The USC project is way further ahead of schedule than I thought it was ever going to be. That's the only thing I was wrong with the speed. Lincoln Riley was going to turn him into a powerhouse. I thought it might take 2 years. It didn't. It took 3 months. That's all it took.
We'll see. Drew L. says, why did Luke call up a 29 and 27-year-old when Ishikoff was sitting right there for his opportunity?
Because he's a dipshit.
Mario Grumpy.
VAR showed a view from the top, and it showed the ball was on the line. So they got it right. As per FIFA rules, the ball has to be completely over the end line. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to guarantee you they don't have a camera over the top. That's the creative shit that they like to do when they want to prove themselves right.
They never are wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, when I see the underneath angle and no part of the ball's on that line, I'm like, okay. Goon Grumpy.
Who was the undisputed baseball king? Kelly Leak, Roy Hobbs, or Pedro Serrano? It's not Pedro Serrano for certain.
Roy Hobbs, the natural.
Well, Roy Hobbs and Natural, he was the guy, but Kelly Leak for minor league baseball was a true stud. And his thing, he was smoking cigarettes, driving motorcycles. I mean,
Sipping on some alcohol, doing it all.
he had a lot to overcome between that and trying to pick up older ballet dancers. I mean,
Frank saying, "Hey, gents, and occasional ladies." Drew L says, draft is also looking better. 2018 Rangers class drafting 2 no names before Oliver Wahlstrom and Noah Dobson.
yeah,
I remember that draft. Grumpy and I were actually at an Islanders meetup that draft. We had started our podcast that summer, or actually, no, that regular season. After the Doug Waite debacle, we were like, this just is so pathetic. And that's what originally started us on our show.
I wasn't as high on Oliver Wahlstrom as a lot of people were. Noah Dobson, absolutely. But I was actually hoping we might get Dobson and Bouchard.
That year, too, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I hope we get Bouchard and Dobson, because I remember we were just coming off of the Doug Waite time period when our defense was atrocious. I'm like, great, we can get 2 top-tier defensemen back-to-back picks. That would be great. And here's the thing. Bouchard's going to be a successful NHLer just like Dobson is. Could you imagine if he would have got 2 of those just rocks back there?
We wouldn't have to trade the number 13 overall pick for Alexander Romanov.
Frank says Portugal can win it, baby. Portugal, Grumpy.
I'd love for them to win. They're so bad defensively. They're going to be cut open like a can opener, like a hot knife through butter when they have a team with offense go at them.
Ghana scored goals against South Korea, Grump. Ghana played well.
Guess what? Ghana scored 2 goals against Portugal as well.
Ghana is a surprising team. They're a team that's playing well right now. They're in form. They're going to continue to score goals. They're a talented team. You'll see tomorrow. Grumpy, comment, Goon.
Uruguay goes through. You know that, right?
Was that?
If Ghana loses to Uruguay tomorrow, Uruguay goes through. That's just the way it is. Uruguay goes through. And here's the thing. You know what you're not going to see from Uruguay tomorrow? You're not going to see them laying back. They're going to be attack on Ghana.
How many goals this tournament does Uruguay have? Do you know that off the top of your head?
One goal.
0. How about try 0 goals for Uruguay this year?
Even less. Well, they did hit a couple of crossbars the first game.
Crossbars don't count for shit.
The
thing. Here's the thing. Ghana has scored. They scored 3 goals against South Korea. They scored 2 goals against Portugal. I guarantee you, Ghana is scoring goals against Uruguay. Ghana is just a good offensive team. They struggle a lot in the back end. They struggle a lot in net. But I mean, Partey is good in the backside. So is Lamptey. They've got good players on that team. Good squad players on that team.
As a Real Madrid fan, would it bother me if Uruguay goes out tomorrow? No. Because it means that Fede Valverde goes back home to Real Madrid and gets to rest up before the second half of the season. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to win tomorrow.
And what do you think about this Goon comment, Grump?
Which band attracted the least amount of females at their concert? Rush. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Village People. No, the women like them. They like those gay cowboys and, police officers. They watch them. So I'm going to say Rush.
Okay. Frank says here, TJ Palmieri has 6 goals, 3 assists in 20 games. Tony Cheese, look at this freaking picture. This bastard, Tony Cheese, said, I missed that comment about Japan, Drew. I don't think you understood the connection between the connection.
I don't know. He's a kid. I mean, it's like, all right. It's like when the Germans bomb Pearl Harbor and Animal House. Germans? Let him go. He's on a roll. That's right out of Animal House.
How often should your toothbrush be replaced? Every 2 to 3 months.
Oh, look at TJ. What happens if you don't use it like TJ? So if it just sits there like it's got dust on it.
Maybe you could do it once a year.
Okay.
All needs is once a year. John M. says here, Grumpy, as much as I hate to say it, this is the year the Leafs get out of the first round.
I 100% agree. Watch out for the Leafs. If they can acquire themselves a true bona fide goaltender, watch out.
Grumpy old man to Portugal can win it all, says Frank.
I'd love to see Portugal win. I just don't think their defense. All right, France would just carve them up. They'd have to play them in the semis if they got that far.
Drew L. Grump.
By the way, the more time goes on, the more I'm convinced Aaron Judge is not re-signing with the Yankees. No problem there.
Let's talk about that. Aaron Judge offered a A huge contract, grumpy old man, by the Yanks.
Okay.
8 years, $300 million.
And why would he not sign back?
Well,
with
it's
the
interesting.
Yankees?
I'll get to that. I'll get to that here. Actually, let me just bring it up now. So apparently, this is reported there. Let me make sure this is not like one of these fake sites. Oh shit! Damn it, Grump! They got me. Fuck. They got me. It's a freaking satire and parody site. Shit! I thought that was real. I thought he wanted to damn join a super team. Never mind. That blows my entire angle. Never mind. So offered 8 years, $300 million. Why would he not want to sign there? He wants to get more money.
Okay. Or maybe he's unhappy with the Yankees organization.
Could be that too.
Maybe he sees the way the team is built. They get beat every single year by Houston, and they don't match up with Houston. It's not even close. Unless they disband the franchise or TJ's right and there's a big fissure in Texas and Houston falls into it, the Yankees are not going to a World Series anytime soon.
Oh, good gracious.
I don't understand, but I heard right from the beginning that it was the Giants were hot on him. And they say it's between the Yankees and the Giants. I mean, I think an article where a Major League Baseball executive said, why would he go to the Giants if it's hard to hit home runs there? Well, maybe he just wants a win. Maybe he likes the way the team is put together. I mean, the Giants are a power hitter away from being a really good team. I mean, I don't know. I'm having a hard time wondering why he hasn't taken that deal or what the holdup is. If he wanted to stay with the Yankees, he should have signed that already, don't you think?
I think he wants more money.
Okay.
As I mentioned, I think he could get more money than that. It's the first offer. They're negotiating. It's not like the Yankees are going to offer him 8 years, $300 million and say, well, if you want another $20 million on top of that, we're not going to even entertain it.
Here's the thing. Here's the way I look at it.
This, by the way, really quickly, would be the highest AAV contract out of any MLB player. I'm sorry, continue.
Okay. So here's the way I would look at it. I'm always a big believer in, hey, this is as far as we're going to go, particularly with these athletes, right? This is what we're going to offer you. We're not coming back to the table. And if I'm a player, I'm like, give me your best offer. And if they give you something like this, another team offers that, I'm going with the other team. They say, well, we can give you more than that. Why didn't you do it before?
It's just the sad truth of when teams get desperate, they'll throw more money because they're trying to make a lot. Hey, here's the thing. A general manager is going to throw more money at it, trying to make sure he can ensure that he keeps his job safe. Hey, Aaron Judge is going to help us win more games than without Aaron Judge. So we need to make sure he's signed because we missed out on this target. So I'm willing to throw another $20 million at Aaron Judge. That's how that works.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm just like, why hasn't he signed back? If he was going to sign back, I think he would have already.
Okay.
I mean, maybe he's looking to abstract the last dollar. I don't blame him. It's the last contract he's ever – certainly the last big contract he's ever going to get.
Yep.
He's been woefully underpaid, let's be honest. And I don't blame him for cashing in. But, I mean, the Giants thought they had a really, really great visit from him.
Mm.
What does he think about the Yankees project? That's the only thing my concern is.
Who pays him the most, I think. I think that's what's going to get him. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does care more about winning the money. Here's the thing. We won't know until a contract is signed. That's for certain.
He's never going to earn that contract. Never.
You think it's going to be released?
Ever. He had his career year this year going into free agency.
When you said never going to earn, you think he's not going to produce
yes.
what he'll get paid. When you said earn, I thought you meant like he'll get released from the contract early and not get guaranteed all that money. Okay, gotcha. No. Christopher C. said, I got Japan to go far. Go Japan. Woo!
Well, they went halfway around the globe to be at the World Cup, so who knows?
Gungun says, wouldn't Obi-Wan Kenobi have been better off just living out the rest of his golden years in Tatooine as a bearded, robe-wearing hermit? In
the long run, yep, probably. I mean, because once he got off Tatooine, he didn't last too long. A little hyperspace jump, and he got cut in half by Darth Vader.
He became one with the Force, actually. He didn't get cut by half.
Yeah, whatever. He wasn't walking around anymore.
The Force took him up. Mario, possession is meaningless. Efficiency. Okay. Mario, you can't say that because, right, you could show a Sean Dyche Burnley football club when you don't have possession long term, you're going to be really tough to win those games. You might snag a winner here, some points here or there. Really tough to be successful long term with that. But possession is meaningless. Efficiency rules. Japan has been very efficient with and when they had the ball. When they needed to score, they got a goal.
They're never going to beat a good team. A good team where it really means something, they're not going to beat that team. Knockout stages like Croatia. Croatia's solid defensively. They are. They control the middle of the park. I mean, could they get them on a counterattack? Yeah. I just think Croatia is more battle tested than Japan. That's all.
Jake Bellow says TJ looks like a monster in that picture.
Ooh,
yeah, I was looked like an ogre. I'm like, damn, I said I'm looking big and everybody else is looking normal size. Hulkamania, Grumpy. Joseph C said, Grumpy, given you're wearing a Hulkamania shirt tonight, who is your Mount Rushmore of wrestling?
Okay. It's different than my favorites of all time. My first favorite wrestler was Don Leo Jonathan, without a doubt. He was my favorite, but a lot of people don't know who he is. He wrestled, into the 70s and stuff like that. So he wouldn't be on there. But if you're talking about the four pillars of wrestling, I guess you got to say Hulk Hogan, number one, Steve Austin, The Rock.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
And gosh, I guess, I've never been a big Ric Flair fan, but, a lot of wrestling purists think he's the best ever. Have you seen one Ric Flair match? You've seen them all. They're all exactly the same. But I guess you'd have to say Ric Flair would be for the top four. And TJ's wandering away, which gives me time to talk about a bunch of other wrestlers that I like. Ken Patera was another guy I liked, former Olympic strongman Ken Patera. He was a favorite growing up. I like Bob Backlund back in the day. Of course, these guys were pushed by, the championship organizations. I'm partial to the guys from the Northeast. So, Harley Race, I was never in love with Harley Race or the NWA style, pretty much like the WWF. Never a Bruno Sammartino fan, though. I'm mostly a fan of bad guys. I like the bad guys. They're just more colorful. Superstar Billy Graham was phenomenal back in his day. He was ahead of his time. If he had come around, Hulk Hogan patterned a lot of what he did after Superstar Billy Graham. So those are the type of guys that I liked, honestly. But, for just good wrestlers, Randy Savage was tremendous. Bret Hart was excellent. If he was a better speaker, he would be even more popular. Not a fan of Triple H or really The Undertaker. They had good matches, but not big fan. Shawn Michaels, I thought he was tremendous as an overall talent. But the managers were great in the WWF back in the day when they had the Grand Wizard of Wrestling, Captain Lou Albano, Classy Freddie Blassie. That's when wrestling was really great. It's not anymore. It's just a waste. I'm going to see if we can pick up some more of these comments because who knows when TJ will be coming back. I don't even know where he's. Okay, there we go. Drew L says, apparently the guy who hit McVeigh was Roger Carter Jr. All I know is he hits harder than Jake Paul. That's true. Pepsi and milk, says Frank to TJ. Joseph C says, Arizona finally jumped into the hard tea market, and I can't wait to try it. Okay, we're going to find out. More Pepsi comments, more Pilk comments. That's right. They did it on Laverne and Shirley. That's right. That's exactly what they did on Laverne and Shirley. I thought it was gross back then. Is milk just naturally flavored with vanilla, Drew? No, I don't think so. And Frank says, we hope we get Billows back. Okay, I'm going to have to skip some of these because we're just talking too much about Pilk, to be honest with you. Drew says, by the way, TJ, I don't want to say you got fooled, but I saw you retweeted something from New York Porch Sports. They're a satire account. Yes, TJ just found that out on the show. Good job. D-Cut says, if TCU loses a close game, does Ohio State leapfrog them? It's hard because Ohio State got pulverized by Michigan. If that game was going to be close, I think maybe. I don't even know. Is Ohio State 5th? I don't even know. Here's the thing: you're not going to see any team from the ACC in there. All I know is USC is going to be in there. Now, if USC and TCU lose, then all bets are off, right? And let's say Michigan loses to Purdue. Wow, then it gets crazy. Drew L says, honestly, what's up with Aaron Rodgers? I mean, I guess I'll give him points for not quitting on his team, I guess. Well, really? Because I sent TJ an article today where he said if the team wanted to start Jordan Love down the stretch, that he would, he'd be okay, almost saying he would listen to that. Like he'd be okay with it. He's a loser. Okay. Aaron Rodgers is a freaking loser. He's always been a loser. And he's a quitter now, too. Who says, yeah, if they want to start the young guy, I'm cool with that. Who says that? Losers do. That's what he says. He signed a 2-year deal. He took the big money. I don't blame him for that. He lost Devontae Adams. The Packers are where they are. I'm not saying that's on him, but when you see the hero of the people taking less money every year to make sure they can keep a team together, and then you see what Aaron Rodgers does, it's not a surprise to me. Christopher C. says, Grumpy, if the U.S. and Japan make it to round 3, who will win? I got Japan. Well, okay. Boy, there's a whole lot of ifs and buts in that. That means the United States would have to beat the Netherlands, doubtful. Argentina, absolutely not happening. And Japan would have to beat Croatia, possibly. And then Brazil, that's not happening. Brazil has the most well-rounded team. So the chance of that happening, not going to happen.
Grumpy, I want to let you know a few things first off. You do a shitty job of reading comments. I know everybody wants Grumpy just starts.
I do a shitty job reading comments.
Second, hold on. And number 2, fix your damn microphone, Grumpy. All I hear is go.
Oh, you're a moron. Can I just say that so everyone knows?
You blew past all these pill comments, Grumpy. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not answering it. I already
you didn't even really entertain this, Grumpy. They're 5th. You didn't even bother looking up Ohio State. No, you screwed it up. You did a bad job on this one, Grumpy. Did a bad job. If you're talking about the college rankings, yeah, wouldn't that just be nuts? I was going to mention this. Ohio State, the only loss they have this year is to number 2 Michigan.
They got pulverized by them at home at the end of the year.
Okay, I just think that's ridiculous. I've always thought it's ridiculous that when you lose has a lot to do with where you're ranked.
Okay, where is Ohio State rated right now? Are they 5th? 5th. I guess they could slide back in. I don't know though. Is that? I guess the committee absolutely wants TCU and USC to win. They don't want to see Ohio State going up, man. They just got pulverized 2 weeks ago by Michigan, and now what, you're going to play them in the next round? Ooh.
I don't know. You look at Ohio State, they've beaten some really talented teams this year.
Yeah. You remember the first week of the year, I said, don't look. Oh, Ohio State, they didn't beat anybody. They just beat Notre Dame. It was only by 11 points. I'm like, yeah, 11 points. That's a freaking blowout.
I want to talk more about that game. I think that Penn State win is a very valuable win for them. They beat Penn State 44-31. Penn State's a top 10 team.
Who's 6th?
Notre Dame's a top 25 team.
Who's 6th?
In the rankings, Alabama. Oh, wouldn't it just be fantastic if both TCU and USC lose and Ohio State and Alabama make it back in?
I can't see Alabama moving up without. They're done. Their schedule is over. I cannot see them advancing. Where's LSU?
LSU's done, man. 11th. They have 3 losses this year.
Yeah, to me, there's no way that Alabama should make it. And I'll tell you what, the bowl committee does not want Alabama in this year. There's no way they say, okay, Alabama, 2 losses, doesn't even qualify to play for their conference championship, and you're going to put them in the top 4? No.
I want there to be that decision they're going to have to make. Maybe they won't drop TCU. Maybe they're just going to put TCU at 4. If TCU loses and so does USC, could you see Ohio State jumping in, playing Michigan in the first round?
What if Michigan loses to Purdue?
That's not happening.
Oh, that's not happening. What if it does?
It's not happening. Purdue sucks. Have you ever watched a Purdue game this year? I can tell you I have. They are awful.
You're saying that there's no way it happens. What if it does?
You know what, Grumpy? If that happens, you know those earthquakes that you said were splitting Texas apart and those volcanoes erupting and mountaintops colliding? Grumpy, if that were to happen, the entire solar system disappears, Grumpy. Disappears.
Okay.
Tony G said, I'm going to start a history podcast with Drew L. There it is.
Didn't care. I didn't care what they're off whatever they do when they're not on the show. I don't care about that. I don't even listen to our podcast.
Because she said, Grumpy.
I already did that. I went through that in great detail.
Yeah, did you go?
Great detail. I went
in. What did you guys ever find out? Oh, did you guys ever find out what Pony Boy was hopped
Ritalin.
up?
I think it was Ritalin.
No. Yes, and he said, TJ must have ate White Castle tonight. God almighty. I haven't had.
You have spent a lot of time in the bathroom.
Oh my God! Just because I go and take a piss, and if I had to run out and do something there in the lobby or in the lobby in my living room, I had to. Drew L says Antonio Brown has a warrant out for his arrest. Well, actually, it's a little bit more than that. There's like a standoff at his house. Have you heard what happened with Antonio Brown?
Grumpy? Oh my God, no. What happened to him? I know there was a warrant out for his arrest. I didn't realize it was a O.J. Simpson situation.
Reportedly in a standoff with police. He has an arrest warrant for domestic battery. Brown is alleged to have guns in house.
Would it surprise you if he got shot down tonight?
Don't even say shit like that.
I'm just saying, would it surprise you?
No, they wouldn't do anything like that. They're not going to run in.
If he comes running out with a gun in his hand, you think they're just going to let him run around the streets with a gun in his hand? There's something wrong with him. There's something wrong with him.
Yep. Yeah. As you can see here, police department says right now, this is 3 hours ago. As of 3 hours ago, right now, this remains an active investigation, and Brown is wanted. Tampa PD says there have been multiple attempts to take Brown into custody, but to protect the integrity of the investigation, it won't release more info right now.
Yeah. Amy Dash knows what she's talking about.
I'm almost got to see what else Amy Dash, what else has happened, Amy Dash? I'll pull it up there for us, Grumpy.
See if she's got a blue check mark.
Okay, here's the thing. That's what fooled me. All you have to do is pay for a blue check mark.
That's right.
So our Islanders Never Say Die podcast and teaching the grumpy old man can have a blue check mark, Grumpy. All you got to do is just pay for it now.
$8 a month, right?
Or whatever it is. Yeah, he's wanted. And says Tampa Police, active investigation following. Okay, still same shit. Okay, so no new updates.
Come on, Amy. Get on the stick.
Okay.
The blue check mark.
There are some tweets from unreliable accounts saying Antonio Brown was shot by police. Funny you mentioned being shot. Then was transported to the hospital. FYI, police said these reports are completely false. Okay, so they're in some sort of standoff. They got a warrant out for his arrest. Antonio Brown losing his damn marbles.
I feel kind of
bad for him too.
I feel bad for him because it was the Vontaze Burfict hit. That's when his life just fell apart. He was just a regular guy until that
nice guy too, my dad.
Yeah, just now he's like I feel bad for him. He needs help. The hero of the people was able to help him for a while, but you can only do that for as long as you can.
Think about this. He was not only a nice guy, he was a good teammate, and people really liked him. And I remember the first time that little blow up happened, he got like, oh, he's a diva wide receiver, was when him and Big Ben got into it at practice. That was the first time really any of this stuff was public about him having issues. I was like, what the hell is happening here? And just one thing led to the next, and here we are. The guy, ultra talented, should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, will never have a chance. No chance.
Nope. And it's funny because he could still play.
Oh, yeah. Think about how many teams are quarterback wide receiver hungry.
I don't understand him attacking Brady like he has. No one, I don't know anyone who was even Giselle, when that harpy divorced him, she didn't have a bad thing to say about him. I mean, he's about
public image.
But I mean, come on, he doesn't look like a bad guy at all. I mean, he always says the right thing. I don't understand it. All right, so
here are some NFL on CBS has put out their quarterback rankings, Grumpy. You want to know why I sent this and put this up? Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Geno Smith, Tua Tagovailoa, Dak Prescott, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kirk Cousins, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, and then Grumpy 13, the hero of the people, Tom Brady at 13. Grumpy.
Okay, Tom Brady's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Do we just need to really go through this?
No, I just figured it would make you a little hot on
Yeah,
the
it's so ridiculous. To have Geno Smith at the top of any list that Tom Brady's on is just a crime. I mean, Noodles, please.
Now, top 10 quarterbacks, Grumpy. Geno, Noodles, and Jimmy Garoppolo, all better than Tom Brady.
Who was number 8? I don't think you showed us number 8.
Number 8 was Dak Prescott.
No, he's a no on me as well. No. How the hell is Deshaun Watson number 15? He hasn't played in a year and a half, and he's a number 15 quarterback.
I'd say almost 2 years he hasn't played.
Yeah, year and a half.
Yeah, at least, year and a half since all that kind of started happening. But yeah, Mike White at 24. You know who would be at 23? That's right, Grumpy. You guessed it, Zach Wilson. He would be at 23 if he was still playing. Kyler Murray, number 20. That's pretty accurate. Mediocre quarterback.
I sent you something on Kyler Murray today. I'm surprised you didn't bring it up.
What'd you send me?
Patrick Peterson
Uh-huh.
said that all he ever thinks about is Kyler Murray. The most thing he thinks about, the thing most important to him, and the thing he thinks about first is not team. It's Kyler Murray. What's best for Kyler Murray?
And is Patrick Peterson still part of that team?
No, he's not.
Okay, that's the only reason he could speak freely on that type of stuff.
And he said he wasn't really ripping him. There's no beef between them, but he just wanted to love when you're an NFL quarterback, you have to think all about the team first. And I guess he just doesn't think that Murray does that. But we've heard those rumors before, without a doubt, we have. And just to show once again that I'm entirely fair, even when I believe in a guy, if something negative comes out, I talk about it.
Here's some Twitter beef. This is what he said. Kyler Murray doesn't care about anybody but Kyler Murray, Patrick Peterson said via All Things Covered podcast. Then Pro Football Focus put out, Kyler Murray responds, grumpy old man. And he says, this isn't true. You want some weird shit, Patrick Peterson. You got my number. If you really felt this way as a big bro or a mentor, you're supposed to call me and tell me, not drag me, I think he meant to say through.
Not drag me so your podcast can grow. Why don't you just read the freaking words that are on there?
It needs to put a comma there. It doesn't make sense. Drag me so
not drag me so your podcast. Why are you changing words? You wanted to throw through in there.
I'm expecting him to make a grammatical error because it's fucked up originally.
Here's the thing. That's the problem with you in comments and everything. You just don't read the words that are there.
The likelihood of him making a grammatical mistake or putting the wrong word in, if he's not okay, it's supposed to have a comma there. What do you want me to say? So
not drag me so your podcast can grow. This is how you should have read it. This isn't true. You want some weird shit, P2. You got my number. If you really felt like that as a big bro or a mentor, you're supposed to call me and tell me, not drag me so your podcast can grow. Drag me. You know, that's the phrase. Not drag me.
Maybe drag me is just what threw me off. What the fuck? Drag me? Drag me through.
Like drag me through mud. Not drag.
Drag me is an action, but we're not getting the action.
Just read the words as they're written, please. Pretend.
Ay caramba. I don't know what's worse. The comment or here's the thing.
I like how his Twitter handle is K1.
And P2.
And P2. Sorry.
Oh man. So this is I'm sure stirring up the shit. Kyler Murray. Remember when Kyler Murray this offseason removed all of the images of himself on Instagram in the Arizona Cardinals uniform? Remember, every single one of them removed it, and the only picture he had up of him playing football was back with his days playing college and for the Pro Bowl. I'm like, what a freak! I'm like, I guess he's not signing back with Arizona.
He did. How many years left on his deal?
Too freaking many. I told you when he signed that contract, it was a huge fucking mistake. I told you day one.
Wait till you see what Lamar Jackson gets.
He's going to be, here's newsflash. It's going to be an awful contract. I pray to God the Giants don't sign him. Please don't do that. It's going to set the franchise back a millennial.
I disagree.
Yes, he's not a good quarterback. He's an athlete. That's it. He's an athlete.
I think Brian Daboll can turn him into a good quarterback.
Yeah. Okay. The guy who's wildly inaccurate is going to all of a sudden start throwing a more accurate football on a consistent basis. It's not like he's 20 years old, Grump, Lamar Jackson.
I'm just saying, I think he would. Brian Daboll can make him work. He got Josh Allen from where he was to where he is now. I mean, I'm not saying they're the same guy, but have similar cannons for arms, not tremendously accurate to start, can run the ball. I just think, here's the thing, Allen's a totally different animal altogether.
Correct.
Because of his physical stature. But Lamar Jackson, when he's on, he's tough to beat. And I think they'd love to put a lot of that run into that game, that quarterback runs with Saquon in the backfield. It would not surprise me if they go after him. That's all I'm going to say. Would not surprise me at all.
Wouldn't surprise Grumpy in the slightest. One thing worth mentioning, Kyler Murray, another one of those points, Grumpy. I'm like Nostradamus, but I cannot believe that happened. That is something else. Kyler Murray have any issue? I want to hear directly from. I'm going to listen to exactly what Patrick Peterson had to say. Let me listen to this real quick. It's a minute-long clip.
Yeah, you think Cliff Kingsbury may be the scapegoat in regards to their struggles?
Ain't no maybe. He will.
He will be.
Yeah, he will be. He will be. And the crazy thing about it, the guy who hired him will still have a job.
Yeah, it sounds about right. I initially was thinking that they probably would stick with him because of the contractual agreement he has. But now just seeing how bad they've been, and then
they fired the coach after the season, man.
Yeah, and he signed an extension last March. But see, just verbally now, vocally, Kyler Murray is talking about, and I don't like how he's doing that. I think he should keep some things privately, but it tells me he doesn't care about his head coach. And he's putting everything on the head coach, basically saying
Kyler Murray don't care about nobody but Kyler Murray. That's just a matter of fact.
Well, I got it.
So,
I can't argue. I don't know him personally. You played with him for a few years.
Slam.
That was even worse than reading it.
My God, what a brutal slam!
That
Holy
was
shit.
Sometimes I was about to say, sometimes when you hear the person say it as opposed to when you read it, that is about as bad as it freaking gets.
What a slam.
Kyler Murray doesn't care about anyone but Kyler Murray, as he's just laughing. That means everybody in the room thinks the same exact thing.
Yes.
They've talked before about how he only gives a shit about himself. Every single member of that team has talked about that before.
It sounded so much worse when he actually said it. I'm like, holy crap. He didn't just throw that kid under the bus. He went over him, backed over him, run him over again, spun his tires out on him, then spit on him, then left, came back and said, I'm going to hit you one more time. He run him over. Oh, my God. Yikes.
Here's the thing, too, Kyler Murray.
But
Don't be getting pissy. Don't be getting pissy on social media. He's the social media diva. Don't be getting pissy on social media, Patrick Peterson. You know what you should have done? Instead of making shit public, maybe you should have called up Patrick Peterson and maybe said, like, what do you mean nobody cares about me? Is that what people think? Okay. Maybe have some introspection and look into yourself. Maybe that is how people perceive you.
What does it say about Kyler Murray, though? Think about it realistically.
Not a good teammate.
Not a good teammate. What did we hear earlier in the offseason?
Too busy playing video games and not studying up.
That's right. Doesn't study the playbook. That came from the team.
Yep. And they originally had on the first contract he signed something about he wasn't allowed to play Call of Duty or something like that. If Call of Duty came up and they wound up getting that out of there, they had mandatory study.
He had to do so much homework. I mean, it's like because he's tremendously gifted, but he absolutely is. He absolutely is.
Okay.
But here's the thing: if you don't have the mental makeup, and what I mean by that is the drive to succeed, you're never going to be a success in the NFL. You're the lead dog on any team as the quarterback, right? There's only 32 of them in the world. And he's certainly one of the top 10, 15 in the world, without a doubt. But if you're not willing to put in that extra, you're never going to be as great as you can be or as good as you can be. And when your teammate says something like that, Patrick Peterson has been in the league forever.
A well-respected NFLer as well. Not a guy who's like a joke or people dislike. A well-respected member of the league.
don't know how much he was a really great player. I don't know if he had the stature of a Ray Lewis or an Ed Reed. So I don't know what he's cornerback, a little bit different breed, but certainly not a guy who was showing his ass all the time. I'll say that about him. And he come out and just said, yeah, he's all about him. Oh, man.
I got to listen to that one more time. And you didn't even see his face. I'm sorry. Let me put it up the face so you could see his face as he's saying this shit. Oh, did I have it up on screen?
Yeah, you had his face up when he said it.
I'm sorry. I got to laugh at this one more time. Give me 1 second.
I got to. I can't do everything when the head coach basically saying
Kyler Murray don't care about nobody but Kyler Murray. That's just
as his eyes get bigger as he's saying that shit too. Oh, this is great.
And he's putting everything on the head coach basically saying
Kyler Murray don't care about nobody but Kyler Murray. That's just
you got the echo thing going again. If I hear the echo, everybody else hears the echo and it ruins the audio. The thing that you are so adamant about that I'm ruining, it's you and your butchering of those things.
Don't worry, Grumpy. Every time I hear that go, I'm gonna go, Grumpy, Mike. Okay, I see you get a fair play, Grumpy. Goon, Grumpy's got a comment for you.
Grumpy, were you surprised when Kenny Rogers Roasters closed? I never ate at a Kenny Rogers Roasters. They were, I don't know where they were, but not anywhere that I ate. So I didn't get a chance to taste them. I guess it was a chicken joint. Probably would have liked to try it, honestly.
Andrew L. Grumpy.
Plate video better be ready for the next show. All right, that's not happening.
I tried to broker a deal, Andrew L. And everybody who listened, I tried to broker a deal when the warden was here on Thanksgiving. And Grumpy gave me absolutely zero support. The warden was just, no, we can't do that.
The warden
I want to release it because it's a good video.
The warden would have to be dead. She'd probably put it in her will that we cannot release the plate video till 15 years after her death.
Oh my goodness.
The plate video is legendary. It's a legendary video. It is.
I'll let you read that there, Grumpy. D-Cat.
How about this dummy Alex Formanton of the Senators? Played chicken with the team and lost. Missed today's restricted free agent signing deadline. And now he's getting shit this season. What a shitty agent. Unless he just didn't want to play for the Senators, which is a distinct possibility as well. But, you're kind of limited when you're an RFA like that. It's like you sign your deal or you don't play. Maybe he just doesn't want to play for the Senators. Who knows?
He's the left wing, 79 games played last year, 32 points.
I don't know how much he thought he was worth, but it's more than the Senators thought he was worth. By the way, who's your NFL MVP so far? I got to go Mahomes. I think it's going to depend on who wins the AFC.
So you think who's in play? Who's in play?
Allen or Mahomes?
Really? I'm shocked you didn't mention your dark horse name in the AFC.
It's going to be Allen or Mahomes. There's no one else I even think about in the AFC. Not even one.
Not even Joe Burrow.
No.
Well, I thought this is an interesting item. I was hoping you were going to say that it would segue us nicely. But they're talking about the next great quarterback rivalry. Could Burrows and Mahomes be Brady and Manning-esque for many, many years?
I'm going to tell you what. I think Burrows is more of a winner than Mahomes is. Absolutely. Patrick Mahomes in big games kind of disappears a little bit, just like Peyton Manning. Joe Burrow is better in big games. That doesn't necessarily translate to being an MVP. To me, that's Josh Allen. If he gets them into the AFC Championship game and beats the Chiefs, it's him. I just think Josh Allen's the best player in the game.
So do you think, though, to answer my question, do you think this could be the next rivalry? The next big rivalry, like Manning and Brady. It's early yet.
What about why is Josh Allen not in that mix? I mean, the Bills are a better team. Here's the thing. Who even put this tweet out? The morons in the NFL?
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, it's the same piece of shit they put out early this year. Is Mahomes and Allen the next great rivalry? What? So every week, what's when if Kansas City plays Miami, is Noodles and Mahomes the next great rivalry? They're just trying to put eyeballs on sets. That's all they're trying to do.
I think that when you're talking about these two individuals, I mean, how Josh Allen's a little bit older than Patrick Mahomes. Am I right in thinking that?
I think they're like almost the same age. No, maybe a year difference. Here's the thing: close enough where it's negligible. To be honest with you,
I think.
How old's Allen?
Mahomes is 27.
Yeah, well, what's Allen? 27, 28, 27?
26.
Okay, so he's even
Burrow
younger.
25. Okay.
Yeah, they're all within the same age. Not enough where it makes a difference.
I wonder if it has to do with the
How
fact
old is
that
Mahomes?
Mahomes and Burrow has played in the Super Bowl and Allen has not.
Well, like I said, if Buffalo gets in the Super Bowl this year, all that changes, right? I just think
Buffalo's still going to the Super Bowl this year.
I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yes.
Staying strong on his conviction, staying strong on his preseason thoughts.
Why not? Why not? What's their record? They just 9-3? I mean, they stumbled a little bit. Oh, D-cut. Yes. Put that comment back up.
Hold on really quickly before you get to that comment. It was Tyler Boyd who said, I look at it like Manning and Brady. Tyler Boyd, the receiver for the Bengals, said that. And that's why they posed that question.
Okay. Whatever.
Okay.
D-cut says, Grump, you remember Roy Rogers fast food restaurant? Great roast beef sandwiches? 100%. There were never better roast beef sandwiches than Roy Rogers. I think there's only one. Okay. I think Maryland on 95 has Roy Rogers. It's the only state I think that still has. It's been a while since I've been up there, but they were the last ones. And I always stop in that Roy Rogers because I'm like, oh man, Roy Rogers, those roast beef sandwiches, they're so good. Oh, so good. They used to have one right down the street from where I live, and I go there at least once a week. They were great.
There's a lot of Roy Rogers still left.
Where?
They've got here, they've got 7 in Pennsylvania, 1 in Pattersonville, New York, 2 in Jersey, 1 in West Virginia. They've got themselves 7 in Virginia, and in Maryland, they've got quite a few Roy Rogers.
Okay. Well, there you go. I wish they had them down in North Carolina. Because I'd get myself some Roy Rogers tonight.
I'm happy they don't, Grumpy. They've got 23 Roy Rogers in Maryland.
Oh yeah, man, Roy Rogers. It's good stuff. Makes you want to travel to Maryland.
Oh God.
Well, Virginia's closer.
Drew L says Patrick Peterson is right though. If Kyler didn't care too much about himself, he'd be studying film instead of playing Call of Duty.
True.
And then D-Cut says, don't forget Herbert, Justin Herbert. Get Sunshine a real coach and not a pencil-pushing weasel, and he's on that level as well.
Yeah, he needs a better coach. He needs absolutely. Brandon Staley is not a head coach. I'd fire him already. He'd be gone.
Well, I think the reason he's not looked at in the same category again, another guy just hasn't had postseason success to the same way that Burrow and Mahomes have.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think, too, regarding like why is Burrow in the mix and not Josh Allen, Burrow's also, as weird as this may sound, Burrow also won a national championship in college. He's been on the national scene longer than Josh Allen has.
Here's the only thing I would say negative about Burrow. He plays for the Bengals.
It does hurt his reach a little bit.
They're losers.
Did you hear what happened? Speaking of the Bengals, you remember the old quarterback, Kitna?
John Kitna, yes.
You hear what happened to his son?
I heard he's into, supposedly selling child pornography.
Is that what it was?
I believe so. Now, I don't know. I don't even know what constitutes child pornography. I don't know. I don't know how old the son is. I don't know.
That's not something you're going to want to look up. So anybody,
what
justifies child pornography.
That's what I want to do. I want the warden to be. What the hell is this? No.
They're banging down your door.
Yeah,
they're banging down the door and resting. So I got to pull this up. So like apparently, I read one spot that he shared some pictures of, and this, mind you, Now, here's the thing, right? Always innocent until proven guilty. We have no idea what's happened with this situation. All we could say is what we've seen in the headlines. But this kid, I think, shared some. At least the story is he shared some pictures on a Discord or something like that. He thought they were legal. Blah blah blah.
How old is Kitna's son?
His name is Jalen Kitten. Let me look up there.
I mean, he can't.
He's 19 years old.
He's 19. And I'm wondering if he's taking pictures of his girlfriend who's 17. Does that qualify? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know any of that. That's why, like I said, I certainly wasn't going to delve into it in any way, shape, or form. But I was wondering if that's what, that's the only thing I could say when I heard it was the son.
Detective Montang commented or contacted Kitna at the residence and interviewed him. Kitna stated that he remembered sharing 2 images, CSAM, whatever that is, but believed them to be legal since he found them online. Kitna advised that he realized he should not have shared the 2 images based on the reaction from other Discord users. From the other Discord user, and he shared them with. Kitna advised shortly afterwards his Discord account was deactivated, and he assumed somebody reported him to Discord. Kitna stated that he received an email from Discord stating that his account was deactivated due to a violation of terms and services. Who the heck knows what's going on with that? Here's the thing, not a good look at all. That's for certain.
No,
cannot be doing stuff like that. But remember, this is my God.
When I first saw it, I thought it was John Kitten. I'm like, oh, he's in freaking trouble. I'm like, yes. Okay, there's no excuse. Okay, not that there's an excuse for the son, but when I thought, oh, it's his son, and the first thing I said was, well, what is he showing? How old is he? And is it like pictures of his girlfriend? I didn't know. Oof. Because if you're under 18, right, you're a minor. Would that not qualify? I think it would. And I don't know. Like when you see the age, that's the only thing I have no idea. I'm not going to judge, but here's the thing, boys and girls. Don't show naked photos of anybody to anybody else. It's just a mistake.
Don't be sharing that. Very dumb. My God. Not to mention his throwing motion looks like absolute shit. I mean, like, look, that picture, not a good looking picture of him. I just looked up a picture because I'm like, that cannot possibly be what that guy looks like because he kind of looks.
I thought that said Anthony. I thought it said Anthony Richardson.
No, that's him. That's him. Oh. That's a picture of him.
Oh, so his name isn't Kitna?
This is Kitna. No, it says the backup to quarterback Anthony Richards.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's how they label it instead of saying his name, Kitna, which is
Jalen Kitna.
Yeah, well, I don't know why the hell they didn't say his name, the backup, like they're trying to protect him or something like that. Yeah. But I'm like, there's no way that's what it looks like because I think that picture's not a very that mug shot is not a very good looking mug shot. So I just Google searched him, and this is the first picture I threw up of him throwing the football, and I'm like, my God, he's got a shitty throwing motion. I can't even get my arm back like that, at least slinging it over there. But yes, so yikes, not good.
Don't send pictures on the internet. It's just a mistake.
Yep. Andrew L says, how do you think the Jets Vikings play out?
The Vikings are going to win. I just think the Vikings are going to win.
Here's the only thing that can benefit the Jets. If the Vikings, who literally just beat the absolute brakes off of the Patriots, gets a little overconfident and they kind of relax and they think it's going to be an easy walkover victory against the Jets. I think the Jets could sneak up on them and win.
Yeah, I just think the Vikings. I mean, the Jets have a good defense, but I don't know. That game's in Minnesota, is it not?
Was that? I'm sorry.
Is that game in Minnesota?
I'll have to check.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I believe it's in Minnesota, and I just have to go with the Vikings on that. They have the extra 4 days to get ready. I think
that seriously does help.
Yeah, I think that's a big help. And remember, Mike White's a quarterback. Now Minnesota has a chance to actually get ready, see some film on him. They're not playing for Zach Wilson. They're playing for Mike White. So, and their defense, Minnesota's a good team. They're playing really well.
D-Cut says, I think Lawrence gets there in a year or two as well. You hear what his teammates say about Urban Meyer. Yikes. He damaged Trevor. and teammate was Andrew Wingard. I'm sorry.
I did not hear what he said. If you can look that up, TJ, I can opine on Trevor Lawrence. I think you're seeing him get better this year, week after week, working with Doug Peterson. He's much better now than he was early in the year. He's making less mistakes. You're seeing that innate talent come out. You're seeing more cohesiveness in that offensive line. Even with the injury, they traded James Robinson, and Travis Etienne is injured, but you're seeing now that
He's back healthy, apparently.
He's back healthy. And you're seeing, Christian Kirk do much better. You're seeing Zay Jones do well, Marvin Jones. They're starting to step up. No, nice hat.
He is okay. I'll be honest with you. He's another guy. When you look at his pictures, he's not a good-looking individual. It's not a good look for him.
I think you're just jealous of the amount of hair he has.
Yeah, let me show you the first picture that pops up for this guy. It's not a good look when I pull him up.
Well, what did he say? I'm interested to see what he said.
Okay, let's listen.
I don't care what he looks like.
Okay.
I'm just so happy for Trevor because he had to deal with Urban Meyer last year as a rookie, and I don't even know if he had a rookie year. And to see the growth he's made, not just on the field, but just like his preparation, his demeanor, all that. And you knew he's, when the rock breaks, it's not that one chip; it's all the chips that stacked up before that. And I'm so happy for him. That throw on 4th down to Zay was like, I knew we were winning the game. Honestly, I could feel it. That was so cool.
And then you believed in your coach all that year, and for him to go for 2, what was that like when he does it?
The stones on that guy, it's like I would die for Doug Peterson, I swear. I would run into battle with Doug Peterson 100%. I love the guy. And, just his attitude, it's like you're 3-7, and it's like, you want to make playoffs and stuff, and it's like he hasn't changed his attitude whatsoever. It's like we come into work, we keep working, and we just keep chipping away, and eventually it's going to pay off, and it did today. And it's like the feeling in the locker room is just awesome. I love this team. I love this team.
You could say the same about you. You haven't had the easiest go of it at times in Jacksonville. Yep. How about the play you made to punch out loose?
I just love football. I love playing football, and you don't think there's nothing to explain that. You just go out and play, and eventually, crazy stuff like that happens. It's like I practiced that for 25 years.
There it is, Grumpy, regarding Trevor Lawrence.
I just want to say, you realize that the Washington Redskins / Commanders, the Giants, and the Cowboys, as well as the Eagles, if the playoffs were held today, would all make the playoffs?
Yes, I am aware of that. It's nuts.
I mean, the Redskins, whatever, Washington is 7-5. I
still call them the football team. I feel like because they were that for a few years, I'm going to call them the football team. For the Command, I'm just not a big fan of the name of the Commanders. No. I'd rather call them the Washington football team. Anyway, yes. Yeah, I said it, and Grumpy and I talked about it after like the first 2 or 3 weeks. We said, holy crap, Trevor Lawrence can play. Mm-hmm. And, we said that early on. I'm very high on Trevor Lawrence and the growth that he can have. And think about this too. They added Calvin Ridley this year too. They added Calvin Ridley. Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley. You're going to have a very, very dangerous with Travis Etienne out of the backfield. That Jacksonville team is going to be successful here in a short bit of time.
I mean, they're 4-7, and their strength of schedule is pretty tough, over 500. I mean, I just think Doug Peterson was a good hire for them. I remember us talking about that's a good hire for them.
Yep.
They need offensive line still.
Yep.
They need. I still think they need a big weapon on the outside. Yes, Calvin Ridley's going to be there. I think they need new uniforms. I think that'll help the team.
They need to change the name of the mascot. They need to change what their
Jaggy the Jaguar.
They need to change them from Jaguars. They need to go ahead and change them to something else. They need to relocate out of Jacksonville. They need to do everything to change, right, Grumpy?
Pretty much. I just think their uniforms are so hideous that it just looks like a loser. They look like losers.
Andrew L. says, I believe the Vikings have the worst pass defense, and the Jets now have the new hero of the people, Mike White. Grumpy.
I just know the real hero of the people, the original, that can only be replicated, never duplicated. The hero of the people, Tom Brady. He cannot wait to get out of Tampa. He must hate going with those clowns who were on that sideline, the quitter players. he can't wait to leave there and go to San Francisco and win another championship. He goes San Francisco, they win Super Bowl next year. Mark it, book it.
Drew L says Trevor Lawrence will be a franchise quarterback if Balky doesn't screw up drafting the offensive line. Although, except Balky doesn't have the best track record.
Yeah, I would have gotten a new GM as well, but seems like they have the coach now, which is so important. They need some more offensive line. I still think they need another running back. 2 years in a row with Liz Frank injuries for Travis.
No. He didn't have a Liz Frank injury this year. That's wrong.
He had the foot injury, though, same foot. It's just
it was
worry,
a precautionary measure.
Yeah, but you worry if it's going to be a continuous problem. Running backs don't last forever. And, a guy who's got that, maybe that foot is just a problem. Could be.
You don't need to use a first or a second round pick on a running back. Try to find a guy in the third round who can maybe run. Right. If you're talking about the shares in the backfield, you need a guy, Travis Etienne, can play 80% of the snaps and the backup plays 20.
True.
You don't need to piss away a top, a first or a second round pick on a running back. But you're right. Offensive line. That should be all the focus that's on. You've drafted so many defensemen or so many defensive players so many years in a row. It should be all focused offense.
Yeah.
I mean, you even think about it. Oh, hold on. Damn, that's right. I forgot CJ Henderson was traded.
DJ Henderson was cut.
CJ Henderson. CJ Henderson, the corner.
Oh.
He was traded last year. I forgot about that. Traded to the Panthers. Played 2 games. Traded to the Panthers, I believe. He was the 9th overall pick.
They did pick up Darrell Henderson Jr., the
running back from the old Rams.
Yeah.
So, absolutely grumpy. But man, we are here at the end of our show today. Hold on, we got 2 more comments. Andrew L said, if Brady were to be on the Jets this year, do you think they would win it all?
I don't think they win it all, but they'd have 2 more wins on their record without a doubt. They would not have lost to New England. That much I could tell you. They would have beaten New England twice.
And I'm going to say, you guys, the Jets probably
then they'd be in first place. They'd be in first place.
The Jets probably would have added more receiving weapons as well if Brady was there.
And they would have drafted an offensive lineman.
Mekhi Becton, grumpy. D-Cut says Jags
is young and fast. You know what they say about Mekhi Becton? He's old and fat.
He's a superstar, Grumpy. But man, Grumpy, we're here at the end of the show today. What do you want to say before we wrap things up today?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the show. We will be live this Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, I hope you've got a great Friday ahead of you. Thank you so much all for listening to the show. We'll see you guys this Sunday. And guess what? On Sunday, the USC Trojans will be boo-hoo-hoo, no longer in the college football playoffs and no longer in the college football playoff picture. Here's the thing. I guess I'm going to be saying my evening prayers to make sure that doesn't happen after all the shit I talked today and recently. So hopefully the Trojans not in the Final Four, Grumpy.
We'll see.
Not saying USC. Oh, God. Oh, man, I'm not rooting for them. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening. And thank you again, Grumpy Old Man.
My pleasure.